Hello and welcome back. It's puzzle time with Sudoku Sleuth, and we're back today with Fogcestershire. Now, I know some of you may be tempted to try and pronounce it such as Fogcestershire. I guess essentially just pronouncing it as it's written, but I can assure you that just like Leicester or Leicestershire, you don't have to try and worry about how it's written, just focus on the ester bit, on the shire bit at the end. So Fogcestershire would be the appropriate way to pronounce it, at least here in the UK. Now, imagine if you're talking about Fogcestershire, it's probably some kind of county in the UK that's constantly covered in fog. That probably sounds like a lot of it, England actually. And maybe I can imagine a few kind of medieval style houses, narrow roads, cobblestone roads, and obviously, of course, the fog. Now, as I'm about to solve and record this, I'm actually kind of thinking, I don't know if you guys have already seen this puzzle. Megan 033's puzzle has already over 1,000 solves as of the time I'm recording. I did check around, I couldn't find anyone that's featured it, so it's just, I think it's because fog puzzles are just so popular. I am pre-recording it, today is Tuesday, and I'm planning on releasing on Thursday, so I may regret this by seeing that's already been featured somewhere else, in which case I do apologize. I'm pretty sure, though, you're going to enjoy the puzzles I've already recorded for Wednesday. Right, enough of an introduction. Let's take a look at today's puzzle. You know what you're in store for. It's another one of the villages, towns, metropolis series of fog from Megan 033 with Fogcestershire by Megan 033. I've already said that. And the following set of rules. Normal Sudoku rules apply. That means place the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, in every column, and in every 3x3 box. Then we have adjacent digits along a green German whisper line must have a difference of at least 5. So if this cell here is a 2, this would have to be 7, 8, or 9 to be 5 or more away. You'll notice that if this is 7, 8, or 9, this is going to have to be a low digit, like 1, 3, or 4. Obviously, I cannot repeat the 2 in the same box. And of course, German whispering lines means I oscillate between 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, and back and forth around the 5, but never including the 5. A black dot between cells indicates cell values with a 2 to 1 ratio, and a white dot between cells indicates consecutive values. Not all dots are given. I'm going to have to be a bit creative in here because all I can see is white dots. So if this is a 2 and this was a black dot rather than white, this would be 1 or 4, so essentially one cell is double the other. If they are indeed white dots as they're shown, for this cell to be consecutive with the 2, it would have to be 1 or 3. Not all dots are given, so a 2 and a 4 as such, for example, would not be a problem. Obviously, the 2 would be with the 3 repeats, but clearly these two cells without a black dot connecting them or a white dot connecting... oh, hang on, that's not what I meant to do. This cell, that is also absolutely fine. Digits in cages do not repeat, and some to the clue in the top left. That means that these 4 cells add up to 12. There will be more cages out there. Some of them can actually span multiple rows, columns, and boxes, but if you imagine that this is indeed a cage, these 2 cells can technically be the same, but not if they're inside a killer cage. The grid is partially covered with fog. Correctly placing digits will clear the fog around that cell, and no guessing is required. If any of these digits were correct, let's say this 2 here, all of the following cells that are neighboring, adjacent, will essentially be cleared, and hopefully that would allow us to make some more progress. Last thing is that somewhere in this fog is a magenta renban that forms a set of consecutive non-repeating digits in any order. So if you imagine that this 3 cell is a renban and this cell here was a 2, then these 2 cells could either be 1 and 3, and it would have to be 1, 2, and 3, so it's not, double 1 doesn't work. It has to be a set of non-repeating consecutive digits, so 1, 2, 3 would work, 2, 3, 4 would work, 2, 3, 5 would not. And obviously, 2 and a double 3 would not either, because that would be repeating a digit. So that's all the rules we have for today. As always, if you want to play along, link will be in the description down below for you to do so. With that said, I'm going to restart the clock and see how I get on. Now, I'm thinking it's got to be the 12 cage that's meant to help us get started. So if I don't have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 would be the minimum, which is 14. That's not enough, so I have to have a 1 in here. I'm thinking I have to have a 2 as well. So 1, 3, 4, 5 is already too big. That's 13, so I have to have a 2 in here. So 1 and 2 are both in there. which means that the low digit that is remaining for the German whisper line, or the low digits, are from 3 and 4. Now, what is my option for a 12? I'm guessing I have an option which is 1, 2, 3, and 6. And I'm guessing I have another option which is 1, 2, 4, and 5. Essentially, the 1 and 2 gets me to 3, a remainder of 9. And I can tell you that it cannot be 1, 2, 3, 6. The reason for that is it would leave me with one low digit remaining. That low digit would have to be in here, in the center, because the two neighbors, you're oscillating between highs and lows. And essentially, I'd be left with only one low digit in the middle, and then two high digits around it. And if I go with a 4, I would require a double 9, and that would break everything. So it's got to be 1, 2, 4, 5 in here. It's got to be a 3 in there, and it's got to be surrounded by 8 and 9. It also means that the remaining digits of 6 and 7 are in there. For this to be consecutive to the 3, this is 2 or 4 on a 5-cell renban. With 8 or 9, that is tough. I'm kind of wondering this has to be 4 and 7, with 5 and 6 as well. I don't think anything else will... I'm fairly certain 2 would not work. 2, 3, 4, 5 will not get me to 7, which is the absolute minimum I can get in here. So that is definitely a 4. Now, this could actually be an 8, and this could be a 9, because I think I could do 8 with 5, 6, 7. So 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 would actually still be consecutive. You need, with white Kropki dots, always one even digit and one odd digit. The only even digit available is this 8. So one of these two cells is an 8 for sure. It doesn't allow me to... is it? I don't know if this is 2 cells or 3 cells. Sorry, taking a moment to think about this. I think I could do 3 cells that way, in which case I'm not sure that this is 2 cells. So yeah, I'm going to move on. This cell here has to be consecutive with a 6 or 7. So that is 5, 6, 7, or 8. Now, to get 4 to be consecutive with the 7, I need 5 and 6 for sure somewhere on these 3 cells. And it's a question whether I need a 7 as well to get to 8 or not. But that means that cannot be 5 or 6, certainly. And that means that, again, same rule that I said that one of these 2 cells is an 8, one of these 2 cells has to be a 7, which means that can't be a 7, or I would have broken this white Kropki dot. So that is a 6, that would be a 7, and the only consecutive digits in here would be an 8. 6 has to be consecutive to 5 or 7 in here. And this is not proving to be... You know, sometimes you come to these puzzles and it's almost like they fall over themselves. But once again, Mega No Double 3 is creating a puzzle that really requires nuanced thinking. 12 cage can't be 5, 7. It could be 8, 4. And it could be 3, 9. 8 cage could be any of the 3, I think. The 5 cage, this is probably interesting, especially with the black Kropki dot creeping in. So obviously this 5 cage cannot be more than 2 cells. It's clearly not the 1 cell, because you can see it's drifting off into there. But the fact that there are no repeats means that if I make this 3 cells, that would be 1, 2, 3 minimum, that is 6. So it can only be 2 cells, and therefore it's 1, 4, or 2, 3. Now let's think about the implications of this for a second. If that's 1, that would be 2, that would be 4. It works. 2 can't be here because that would require a 3. 3 in here with 6 is fine. With this a 2, that's also still fine. Now 4 with a 1, and then 4 with 2 or 8, all of which is fine. Oh, here is a better thing, actually. I thought this is sort of the way to break in, but no. We've got 3 high digits of 7, 8, 9 looking at this cell. If this is a high digit, it can only be a 6 because 7, 8, and 9 are gone. And with 2 neighbors that can see each other, they would have to both be double 1. That doesn't work. So this is definitely low, and therefore it's 1 and 2. 1 or 2. If it's 1, that would be 2. If this is 2, that would be 1 because it can't be 3. So this is a 1-2 pair. They have high digits as neighbors. That can't be 6 because, again, there's a neighbor clearly in here. So even if this can be a 1, I can't have a double 1. So this is 7 or 9, can't be 8, can't be 6 for the reason we described. Again, don't know if this includes a 7, because if this is 8, it does include a 7, in which case this would be 9. It doesn't have to. This is another high digit that cannot include the 8, but can include, I think, pretty much anything else. Maybe not the 9. So 6, 7, not the 9, because if it's a 9, and even if this is 2 cells, it would require a 2, and the 2 is not available. So this is 6 or 7 at a maximum, and it can't be 8. Interesting. And then down here is a low digit. It's not these two, not that one. Like I said, interesting. Not too sure where to go next. Right, so if this is 2 cells, that would include a 5 in here. If there are 6, and it can't be a 4 because of this 4. In general, I don't think it can be a 7 because, you know, the debate that is going on in my mind is that, is it 2 cells or 3 cells? And because it cannot include a 4, since it's here, that can't be a 7, can it? Yeah, because can't be 2 cells because the 4 is not available. If it's 3 cells, well, I'd leave 2 cells that need to add up to 4, which is possible, 1 and 3. So no, I can't choose one just yet. And this low digit is frankly any of them. And the only thing I can guarantee is that these 3 cells include 5 and 6. But the 6 can be in here. It doesn't necessarily eliminate this 6. So it doesn't necessarily even force this to be 1, 4. Interesting. These 2 cells, just completing row 6 now, have to be 5 and 6, which is helpful because that gives me a 7 up there. Forces a 7 into one of these 3 cells with Sudoku, but again, not enough. These 2 cells have to add up to 14. 14 in 2 cells can only be done in one of 2 ways, either 6-8 pair or 5-9 pair, and it can't be 6-8. This is definitely 5-9. So this renban is probably there to help, especially when I think about what are the remaining options that I have. So remember, no 8s in here, which means 8s is in one of these 2 cells. So let's just, oh, hang on, it can be down there. In general, I'm thinking this renban can't be that high, because this 7 is excluded from all of these. So even if I try and squeeze a 7 in here, because of this 8-9, I can't have both. I can have one of the 8s. One of the 8-9s, and it obviously has to be the 8. But then I've broken it because these can't be 5 and 6. So in general, the construction so far is saying these are 4 cells that have to be decreasing from the 7, but could include the 7. Sorry, one moment, please. If there are people outside our door, my dog gets very nervous, as you can probably hear. Come on. I can get away with a 7. No, I can't, because the 5, 6 is still a problem. Yes, so I can't have a 7 on any of these cells. Okay. And without the 5, 6, I still need, so this is, 1, 2, 3, 4 is what I'm getting at. Yes. It's not 5, 6. We've eliminated the 7. If I put an 8 on here, that would be 7, and then I'm back to the 5, 6 problem. So these have to be 1, 2, 3, 4. This can't be 5, so this is because of this 5, 9. So this is actually a 1, 2, 3, 4 renban. And there's another 8, 9, and then this last 1, 2, 3, 4 is somewhere in here. Which means this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but not enough again to form anything. Let's think about this cell. It's not, I mean, it can be 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's not 5, 6, or 7. It could be 8, 9. So essentially, it's something like that, which means the 6 is definitely in here, inside the 11 cage. I'm pretty sure that's going to force this to be a 6, because if that's 7, that would make this 6, and then suddenly we're at 13. So that is definitely the 6. And it is 2 cells, that's the 5. That means that's 1, 2, 4, which, hang on, 5 and 6, 7, 8, 9. Can't have 7 in here. That's got to be the 7, that's got to be the 8, that's got to be the 9. And then that's the 4th, 1, 2, 3, 4. Has to have a 3 in here because this is only 1, 2, or 4. That means no 3s there. No 3s here. That's 1, 2, 4, 5. And obviously there is a triple in here. 3, 8, 9. 6 forces obviously the 1, the 2. Doesn't force a 7 or 9. 7 in here. Not helpful. Because essentially this is now 3, 5, 6. Or, actually it is helpful. Because it can't be 8. So this is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Triplet of 3 that includes a 3 must mean that this is 4, this is 8, this is 9. That 9 was already placed. Ignore that. That 8 means that's not 8. Still can be 4 with a 2. Not a 3 in here. Not a 4 in there. These 2 cells don't include a 7. So it's not 1, 7. It could be 6, 2. And it could be 3, 5. Getting there, but again, not enough. 3, 5, 6. 2's not here. 2's in these 2 cells. And essentially I have like a loose 1, 7, and 9. So this could be 1, 7, 9, and then there's another 1, 7, 9 in there. Bit of, yeah, so, okay. Essentially, I'm losing all of the low digits between these 4 cells, these 5 cells, excuse me. Low, 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 and then I have to have 1 of 2 or 3, which eliminates the 2, 3 option from this 5. Because it's either 3, 5 or 2, 6. So 3's gone, 2's gone. That means that can't be 6 anymore. That has to be 2. That's not 2. That's a 1, 4 pair in the column. This is not 1 or 4, nor a 2 for that matter. That's a 5. 1, 4 from here eliminates the 1, 4 and gives me the 2, 3 pair, kind of virtual 2, 3 pair. This is a German whisper line. Onto this other. Yeah, so this is a high digit. Because essentially this German whisper line is almost certainly connected. These 2 cells are going that way, these 2 cells are going that way. It doesn't matter actually, that is definitely a high digit. And it can't be, it can be. We don't know in essence if this German line is continuous. It could do something cheeky where it does that, and like essentially like interrupted. And this cell is sort of that. It doesn't have to be joined up. So technically I can get a 6 in here. It's not 7. It's 6, 8, or 9. 2 in here. means that's not 2, therefore that's not 6. That is a 3-5 pair. That has to be 2. It is connected. It is not a 6. 2 leaves this to potentially being a 7, so we can't resolve that. Tricky puzzles, or tricky fog as usual from Megan 033. 5 in here means that's not a 5. So up there, essentially, I've got another 3, 6, a 7, and an 8. Hang on, 3, 5, 6. We've got a triple. So these two cells are known. They are 7 and 9. That 7 has to be in here. That's 7. That's 9. That 9 gives me the 5, 5, and 9. German whisper means I need to oscillate. So the 3 has to be here because it can't be 6, 7, 8. So that can't be a 3. That's got to be 6. That's got to be, sorry, 5. That's got to be 3. That is not a 3. That is not a 3 either. 3 can only be next to the 8. So that's got to be 3, 8. And this is not 6 or 3, 8. That is 7. Then we're back to whatever this is, which is not a high digit. All of them are gone. So that's got to be the low digit. That's got to be high. That's got to be low. This can't be 3. It's 1 or 2. Can't be 4 next to the 8. This is a high digit and it's not 7, 8, or 9. It's 6. It's 1. It's not 1. 5 gave me 3 and 5. And essentially I have another 2, 4 in here. No resolution. Okay. Slow but steady progress. So 6 and 9 in here alongside another 2 or 4. Now the 9 is not there. It's not a 6 either, because the consecutive digit in here can't be 7 or 5. So this is the 2 or 4, and up here is 6 and 9, and the 6 can't be there. That's 6, that's 9. Consecutive here means it's 1, 3, or 5. It's not a 3, nor a 5 for that matter. It's 1, it's 2. It doesn't resolve. 1, 4 pair does give me a 2 in here. Definite 2 in there. Interesting. Definite 2s in box 4 and 7 that line up in columns 1 and 2. That's got to be a 2. 1, 3. That's another 1, 3. Can't see that cage. 1 and 2 means that's a 4. These are not 4s anymore. 1 and 3 gives me a 2. These two cells, if you remember, had to be the same. That's the 4. That 2 eliminates this 2, and that gives me that 2. Still doesn't show me that cage. 4 is in here. Where's 2 actually? That's more interesting. So there you go. That's 2. 8, 9 does mean I know what these are. They are 5 and 6, and the 6 can't be here. That's the 5, that's the 6. Yeah, not an, like, really not an easy puzzle. It's still fighting. It's still the 179. It's still the 179. Not quite a triple. Not removed anything from here. What am I missing? The 1, 4s. Essentially, if this is a 9, so this is one way of resolving that, but haven't really looked in this corner. Let's have a think about it. 9s, for example. That's no, 9s is one of 2 cells. And 9 is in one of 3 cells. 5 is not here. 5 is there. Let's think about this row now. So I have another 1, 3, 4 that can't be in there. It's got to be in there. And an 8. 1, 3, and 8. It's 2 cells, which to be fair can actually add up 11. So it's not a problem. For sure it does include an 8. 1, 3, 8 means that's not a 1. The only place for a 1 in row 7 now can only be in here. This is 7, 8, or 9. And then I have another 7, 8, or 9, and then a 6, which I still can't place. It's playing mind games with us now. Okay. Maybe 6? Yes, 6. That's 6. And another cage that's not revealing itself. Okay. So we have 3, 7, 8, 9. So we know these are made up of 3, 7, 8, 9. We know that's not a 7. We know that's not 8 or 9. We don't know much else. 3, 7, 8, 9 gives me another digit in here, which can only be a 4, which will give me a total. It's got to include a 3 and a 7. That's the 7, that's the 3 to get to a 10. That can't be 7, and that can't be 3. Only place for a 3 now is in here. 8, 9 pair does give me a 7 in there. 8, 9 pair does remove the 9 from here. That's the 9. And these two have to be 6, 7, which are still not resolved. We're getting there though. 8 and 9, that's the 9. That's the 8. These two cells include a 1 and an 8, unresolved. This cell is just known. Come on, write that in. That will probably help. Yes, because that gives me 6, 7, shows me a total of 11. So that can't be 1. That is the 1, 3, 1, 4, 1. 8 and 9 here surely are resolved. No, yes, they are. 1 gives me 4, which gives me 9, which gives me 8, 9, and 8, and 1. And this 3, 8 is not resolved yet, but that 1 does give me 8, 1, 8, 3, 5, 6, yeah, are indeed resolved. And then we're just basically finishing up here with a 5. Solve counter 1004. Hopefully by the time you guys see this, hasn't been solved too much more, and you get to enjoy it. Because it is another fantastic puzzle in the series from Megano 33. So I hope that you guys enjoyed the puzzle and the video, and I'll see you back soon. Bye-bye for now.